Hello, my Facebook students. I know you hear my dog. Stop, dog. Stop. Stop. Come here. All right, Facebook students. I know you hear the dog in the background. All right, today, my Facebook students, good evening. I'm coming to you a little later than what I normally do, but I'm going to try to come earlier. Had to go and restock for food, so had to come on a little later today. So, hello, my Facebook students. This is Problem Solved, and today we're going to review factoring a trinomial. So we're going to kind of go the reverse way of getting to the FOIL method. Last time I reviewed the FOIL method. So this is the reverse of the FOIL method. Okay? So we're going to factor a trinomial. Hello, my Facebook students. If this is beneficial to you, please like and share. If you feel like it's beneficial to other students. Okay, you're hearing my dog right now. Sorry about that. He's going off. Okay. All right. So we're going to go the reverse towards the FOIL method. So please like and share. Hopefully this is helpful to many students, to many parents that's helping their children at this time. If they're reviewing pre-algebra or algebra 1 and algebra 2, these are some of the foundational concepts that they would need to understand. All right, so let's get started. Okay, I hope you can see the board clearly. I'm trying to do better as I come on Facebook Live. This is new to me, but I am learning as I go in this process. So, all right. Hopefully you all can see this. If you can see this clearly, please wave at me or give me a comment. I would appreciate that. I want to make sure everyone can read this clearly. And if you need to go back and review, you can always replay. If you have any questions or you need additional help with some of the math concepts that I am reviewing, you can inbox me. I'm a little, kind of busy with other things, but if you really need one-on-one help, I, charge a small fee for one-on-one for 30 minutes. So if you are interested and your child is struggling and they need help with their assignments, math assignments only, then you can inbox me and I can answer some questions for you, and maybe you can let me know what they're doing and we can move on from there. Okay? But right now, this is just to give back to students, parents that have students. I'm giving back because this has been done for me over the years when I was an electrical engineer in college, and I really appreciate what people have done for me, so I am giving back this way. But if you need additional one-on-one help, please inbox me with, if your children have struggles with assignments, math assignments online, and if I can be an assistance to them, you can inbox me and we can set up a time. Alrighty, let's get started. Thank you for waving to me. All right, so we are going to do the reverse. We did the FOIL method last time, so now this is kind of like the reverse of the FOIL method. We call that factoring a trinomial. Okay, so we have a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. This is called a trinomial because we have 1, 2, 3. We have 3 terms. Okay, I want to make sure I look at my notes because I don't want to have any incorrect answers and have to come back on and, try to correct some. We're not perfect. Sometimes we make mistakes, even though I've been teaching math for over 30 years. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we want to divide this trinomial into 2 binomials. Okay, so I have 2 sets of parentheses. And remember, when you have 2 sets of parentheses next door to each other, that represents multiplication. I'm just going to put a dot for teaching sakes, all right? Some people use a dot, some people will represent with the X, all right? The X can be confusing at times, so that's why we just drop the dot and we drop the multiplication symbol X. All right, moving right along. All right, the first thing we want to look at is we want to look at this letter A squared. A squared, the 2 represents your exponent or your power. And I think with another session, I will probably review the exponent rules. So if you're watching today, I hope you watch during the rest of the week, and I'm going to review the exponent rules. So let me write that here. You need to understand the exponent rules. And I will review that probably in my next session. All right, so let's look at A squared. How do we get A squared? So we say A to the first power, or A to the exponent of 1. We put that in this parentheses, and then we put the A to the first power in the second parentheses. That tells me if I'm doing the FOIL method. If you go back and replay my last session, we reviewed the FOIL method. All right, so the FOIL method says first, outer, inner, last. So that tells me if I have A times A, that's A to the first power times A to the first power equals, and if you know the exponent rule, you add exponents. And that would give me A squared, which that is what this is here. Okay? Now we want to go over here and we want to look at B squared. How do we get B squared? So we must put the B to the first power here in this parentheses and B to the first power here. All right? So we have first, this is our first of the FOIL. And now we need to go to the outer. The outer are our B's. So that's B to the first power times B to the first power. And your exponent rule says if you're multiplying exponents, you must add the exponents. So that would be B squared. 1 plus 1 is 2. So that's B. 1 plus 1 equals B squared. Okay? So that's why we have B to the first power here and B to the first power here, over there. Now, in the textbook, unless you're as old as I am, all right, Jet? That's my dog. Okay. Okay, so I want to repeat that. If you have your exponents here in the 1, if it's raised to the first power, it is not written in a textbook unless you have an older textbook and you started school kind of during my time where you maybe have seen the exponent. If it's written with 1, you may have seen it in a textbook. But in the textbooks now, you will not see any of your exponents. If it's 1, they won't have it. It's understood in algebra. So you don't have to put to the first power, because any variable that doesn't have a power or an exponent, it will always be 1. Alrighty? So when I come to the second, when I rewrite it, I'm going to erase, I'm going to drop the exponent of 1. Alright, so moving right along. Now, after we put in our variables, this is the first term. This is our first term. Here's our second term. And here's the third term. Alright, those are called terms. And that's called a trinomial. All right, so now we've done away with variable A and variable B. Now let's go to the middle term, and we must look at our symbol. So we have, let me erase this so I can make sure we point out our positive symbol. All right, this is positive. So since we have positive here and positive here, we want to put the positive or the plus symbol in both of the parentheses because we don't have a negative, we don't have a positive and a negative, we have two positive symbols. All right, so let's rewrite this. Now, well, let's get the second term. So we checked off on our first term and we checked off on our third term. Now let's get the second term. How do we do that? We use FOIL. All right, so we did first, outer. Now let's go to inner. What are our inner terms? The inner term is here. Okay, so that means A comes before B, so we want to say A to the first power times B to the first power, which is AB to the first power. All right, that's your inner term. Now let's go to the last term. Last is your B times your B. I'm sorry. Forgive me on that. Thinking too fast here. All right, so we have our first. This is outer, inner, and the last term is, let's make sure here. Here are our last term here. A to the first power. A to the first power times B1, or B to the first power, which is A to the first power, B to the first power. All right? Okay. Now let's just rewrite everything here. I want to write so you can see if we have the inner and the last term. So we have A to the first power, B to the first power. Remember, if you have a positive in front of it, it's going to be positive. So this is the inner term, I. Now we're going to add our last term, which is A to the first power, B to the first power. Okay? This is your inner and last. So if you have, and I just want to point this out, this is the middle term so you can see that we are on the second term. In front of your variables, there's an invisible 1 in the middle. So since we have to add, 1 plus 1 is 2, A to the first power, B to the first power. Okay, so that's how we have 2AB. But remember, in algebra, it is understood that we do not put the first power. All right, so it just would be 2 times A times B. That is your middle term. Okay, and remember here, your first term is A squared plus, here we have our 2AB, and then it'll be plus B squared. So that's how we got this right here. And the second term is here. Just kind of rewrite that. 2AB, because we dropped the powers. So that's how we got 2AB as our second term here. And then our first term, this is the first term. Here's our second term, so you can know this is second term. And then here's our third term. So I want to show you first, before I rewrite the final factoring of your two binomials. So I showed you how they went backwards to get your A squared, how they went backwards to get your B squared, and how they got the middle term or the second term. Okay? All right, so now let's erase all of this and let's write the final factoring answer, or the final factoring of our trinomial. Okay, so hopefully you'll go back and replay this and you'll kind of understand if you go step by step. All right, so I'm going to erase all of this so you can see what the final factoring looks like. All right, just going to erase all of this. If it gets messy, you know, that's why you need a lot of paper. You want to write clearly, neatly. When you're writing math, you really want to write neat. Your penmanship should be very neat so you can go back and read your own writing. Okay? Just kind of erasing so we can kind of see the final answer. Take away all these notes, the terminology, vocabulary that you really should know. Okay. All right. So I'm going to rewrite this so it looks neater. Okay, so this is your final factoring. So we went from a trinomial, this is a trinomial here, to two binomials. This is two binomials. Okay, so it is a plus b times a plus b. And that, if we go the reverse way here, it would give us back this. So it's like you're going back and forth. It's called the reverse of the FOIL method. The reverse of the FOIL method is factoring, and it looks like a trinomial, which is this. So this is the reverse, or we undoing it. So this is called the reverse, which is factoring. Okay, so we went from a trinomial, which represents 3. Tri means 3. That's a root word for trinomial. And we went from 3 to a 2-term, 2 binomials. All right? I dropped the invisible ones here. So we got rid of that because it's understood in algebra. So I'm going to erase that. All right? So that is how you are factoring a perfect trinomial. Okay, so let's do an example problem with a number so you can see how this is done. All right, if this is beneficial to you or you believe it would be beneficial to someone else, please like and share. All right, so we're going to do the top example with numbers so you can see it. I did it with variables here without, you know, it has a 2 there, but now we're going to actually do it with a multiplication factor. All right, and then I will be done today. All righty, so let's rewrite x squared plus 6x plus 9. How do we factor this? We want to set up our two binomials. We want to make sure we can go backwards, the reverse, and factor x squared. So we know x raised to the first power times x raised to the first power. That is our first term, f. That is your first. All right. Now we want to do our third term here. So we want to look at 9. We want to look at 9. Uh-oh. So we want to know the factors that would give us 9. We know 1 times 9 would give us 9. We know 3 times 3. Sometimes I want to go backwards and do the x. 3 times 3 is 9. So the question is, you want to look at, if you were to add 1 plus 9, would you get 6, which is our middle term? 1 plus 9 gives us 10. So if we add 3 plus 3, we will get 6. So the one that we want to choose for our middle term to get 9, because we have to make sure our last term gives us 9. But we want to make sure that that last term for the factors of 9, when we add them, we would get 6. Okay? When we add both of the multiplication factors, we would get 6. So which one would that be? It would be this one. So we need to use 3 times 3. So we're going to put 3 here and 3 over here, because your third term here, in order to get that, we chose 3 times 3 instead of this one. We don't want to use this one. All right, we want to use this one. Okay, so I'm going to erase my 1 because it's understood in algebra that you add the exponents, which gives you 2. All right, so let's bring down our symbol. What is our symbol? Our arithmetic symbol. It is positive, so we put positive in both of the parentheses. Okay, so if we were to do our FOIL method first, outer, inner, and last, we will come back to our polynomial. Well, it's a polynomial, but called a trinomial because we have the first, second, and third terms. All right, so let's just do it just to check it. So x times x is x squared, because we add the invisible ones that are your exponents. So that is your first. Your outer is 3 times x, which is 3x. So your outer is 3x. Your inner is 3 times x. So this is your outer. Here's your inner. That's 3x. All right, the first term, let me put it here, is x squared. Now we want to go to our last term, which is 3 times 3. And 3 times 3 is 9. So if we put our addition symbol, it will be x squared plus the x squared plus 3x plus 3x, which gives us 6x, and then plus 9. So that's exactly what we have here, x squared plus 6x plus 9. All right, so we did our first, outer, inner, and last. Okay? So I hope that this is like a good review for you all. And please replay if you didn't understand it as well, so you can write it down on a piece of paper and go through it yourself. And hopefully this will help you to go over some of the missing steps or concepts that sometimes is missed when we're working problems like this, factoring a trinomial. All right, so I just want to make sure everything is clear. So remember, what we did is we used the FOIL method, first, outer, inner, last, to check to make sure we came back to the original trinomial, which is x squared plus 6x plus 9. So our final factoring is x plus 3 times x plus 3. That is your final factoring result from the trinomial to 2 binomials. Okay? So I hope that you all learned something from this, or hopefully it was a review for you all. And if you have students that's taking pre-algebra or algebra 1, this is hopefully something that could be beneficial to you. So I hope you all stay healthy and safe as we're at home in quarantine. And please, please like and share. And this is Problem Solved. Peace out.